I started watching Traitors last night, which I don't normally watch it at night,
No.
but I was excited to see where it was going to go this week. And I texted Lauren around 9:30 and I was like, "Oh my gosh, did you see who they murdered?"
So no, Lauren had not seen who they murdered. Lauren was playing Fortnite with her friends and lost track of time. And one of my friends, she actually covered The Perfect Neighbor with me. I'll put a link right here on YouTube. Nori. We decided to guess. I also wasn't about to give up the Fortnite game. Dee was like, "You're never going to guess." I guess Colton. Nori guessed Johnny. Dee said, "All right, I won't text you anymore about it."
Mm-mm.
But then
An hour later, I texted about how good I thought Candice was doing at the Roundtable. And Lauren's like, "No, no, no, no. I'm only 10 minutes in." And I'm like, "What the hell?"
Well, Dee, you've never played Fortnite before. You just get lost in the game. It's like when you play Redecor, time just slips away. But with your commentary, we got to watch this. What the heck
Mhm.
is going on? And then Dee said one word that made me realize what was going to happen this entire episode.
I said 3. Shit, fuck them.
What an episode. Traitors, Season 4, Episode 8. A queen never comes off her throne. Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the host, side by side. Channel surfers, let's ride.
Hey, channel surfers. Welcome to Remote Reality. I'm Lauren, your friend and attorney host who loves to overanalyze everything, including our favorite reality TV shows.
And this is Dee, her paralegal and smartass sidekick and co-host.
I just have to say, you all are the best part of our week. We had a rough week. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. One of the days we weren't doing an episode. All I wanted to do was just get on here and talk to our friends about just silly reality TV shows instead of all of this serious stuff that we deal with. This is our escape. You guys do so much just being here and chatting with us. It's like my antidepressant. I mean, I take Lexapro, but having friends to talk to about things we both like, it's a boost. So thank you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you. I like to have partners in bitching because I get so frustrated with some of these shows.
When I talk to my friends in real life about it, for the most part, it's just they glaze over, change the subject. If you'd like to join in on the fun, support us, doesn't cost anything. Just click subscribe. I'll put a link right here on YouTube for Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review and leave comments. It will help other friends find us and share with other friends who love the same reality TV shows that we all do. Traitors, 90 Day Fiancé, Love is Blind, Sister Wives, and so much more. I mean, I can watch almost anything reality TV. I'm a junkie.
Yeah, I like Real Housewives, Beverly Hills, and the Orange County in particular.
And true crime stuff. We will be covering the Murdaugh appeal on Wednesday. So I'm a South Carolina licensed attorney. I'm in the Low Country. We have clients all up and down the South Carolina coast. Yet we have people in Hampton County where that happened. It's a small state. We watched the whole thing and I'm really excited that we're going to get to cover some of this appeal. So you'll see Dee and I have shed our treacherous capes. We're not supporting the traitors anymore. We've flopped sides.
I told Lauren this morning, I'm not in my traitor stuff. I am not supporting the traitors anymore. I'm so upset.
What are those dangling from your ears?
They're swords.
She's got the daggers. And everybody's wearing these dang berets. I had to get one. So if you're on YouTube, yes, I jumped on the bandwagon. I got a beret.
It's very cute on you.
Should I wear it out in public? Do I go out in public? Maybe if I go somewhere, I'll wear it.
You should. See if you get any reactions.
So this episode, there is some tension in this turret. It is palpable between Candice and Rob. Candice just said Rob's name at the round table, and Rob just turned on Lisa. We knew it was going to be ugly.
I just couldn't believe that he had the audacity to act like he was offended that she put his name on that card after what he did to Lisa.
Well, then you see him in ITMs saying that he knows Colton has been saying Candice's name, but he's not going to tell her that.
He's a traitor in the traitors.
There is something brilliant about this gameplay. Later in the episode, we see Johnny discussing who the brains of the traitors are. Johnny doesn't think it's Lisa. Someone else is calling the shots. And I started thinking, okay, good point. Who's calling the shots, though? Is it Candice or is it Rob? And at first I thought Candice. She's assertive, she's smart, she's strategic. But then going back and thinking about this entire episode, Rob's a puppet master. He knows that Colton has Candice's name in his mouth and he withholds that information. And he gives Candice the power to choose who the murderer is. He also says he doesn't want Colton to go, knowing that Candice is mad and is going to want to punish him for getting rid of Lisa. He has put Colton in the line of fire. He doesn't care. He knows exactly what Candice is going to do. He set that whole thing up.
He is playing chess. Colton was a pawn.
And Candice is a pawn now. That's what we're seeing in the turret. You see Candice do that stamp when the edit is coming off. Rob telling us that Colton has been saying Candice. He sealed Colton's fate. He's playing to win.
I don't know. There's going to be a lot of suspicion on him after the roundtable, but that's later.
I don't know. That's not what we're hearing.
He is so good. He's got Mara wrapped around his little finger. She's so infatuated.
When Candice comes back over to the turret with the Colton envelope, Rob's reaction isn't even disappointment. It's amusement. He dryly says, R.I.P. Colton. He had Candice do what he needed Candice to do.
He had Colton do his work too.
Nobody would ever think Colton would be murdered by Rob. But he goes in there knowing that Colton's saying Candice. It was brilliant. I have to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah. He's not just pretty and he's not some dumb boy from the South.
I'm afraid he's not. He is manipulative and he's working this house.
He's scary good.
In ITMs, I love Candice's red dress. Got this red fur around it. She wears a lot of red in this episode, the color of blood. Hint one, that she's a traitor. But actually, the second outfit that she comes in at breakfast, this was giving Mrs. Claus became a go-go dancer vibe.
Yes. Yes. Bad Mrs. Santa Claus.
The mean girl Santa outfit. We wore that for Halloween in college. It's short shorts with a button-down cardigan. The red is outlined in white with gold buttons. And she has on these thigh-high black leather boots.
Throughout the episode, that it went back and forth. Sometimes she was in the boots and sometimes she was in shoes.
Put on the shoes to kick Rob's ass. You know, the North Pole, it's icy and Candice is a cold-blooded murderer. Another sign there. Another sign that nobody picks up on. So at breakfast, Johnny and Tara walk in. I was so relieved to see them. I really like Johnny and Tara. I did a little bit of investigating, watched some of their skating routines. The Winter Olympics just started. We'll see them covering some of the ice skating. I also found an old episode where Johnny was on Tyler
Henry,
the Hollywood Medium.
I love him.
I know. I sent you the link on YouTube. He got a reading. I thought he was flirting with Tyler.
I thought Tyler was flirting with him too.
It was cute. But Tyler, he's had like a long-term boyfriend who's now his husband. It was adorable though. I really like Johnny. Oh, also, story, we all got rollerblades. My son has a friend in the neighborhood. They gave him a hockey stick for his 4th birthday. I'm thinking, that doesn't sound like a bad sport to get into. I don't think I could be a soccer mom or a t-ball mom. I don't want to sit outside in the hot, humid South Carolina weather. Sounds miserable. Put me in a cold ice skating rink. Yeah, I could do that. I could handle that. And his uncle is his dentist, so we can get him some floppers if he knocks out some teeth. Kidding. So one of his friends came over. She finds my rollerblades and she wants to put them on. So I put Jake's rollerblades on her and she's skating around. And I said, okay, I'll skate with you. So I put on my rollerblades and I'm skating forward. We're in the house doing this. I'm skating backwards. I'm like, hey, y'all, watch this. Now, whenever I ice skate, I'm able to kind of do the twirl thing. Doesn't work so well on rollerblades because when you put that toe down, it's not getting stuck in the ice. So I go to twirl, fall down on my arm and elbow. I felt so nauseous. I wanted to cuss to make it better, but it's someone else's kid. Her mom comes back and she's like, you need to go get that x-rayed. It's swollen. And I was like, I'm on my period. She goes, one hand doesn't swell for that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna ibuprofen it. Here we are a week later. I'm still just doing the ibuprofen. It is getting better. I'm getting more movement out of it. I think it was just a really bad sprain, but I tried to play Johnny and that's what happened. So kids, do not try that fancy stuff on your rollerblades. Anyway, back to traitors. My rollerblades were traitors. Actually, my mind thinking I could actually do that at 41 was probably the traitor. All right, breakfast time. Eric likes everyone in the castle. He's going to have to make a decision. This is recruitment night. Rob is going to give him a choice to die or join him as a traitor. So on my rewatch, I was looking at what Eric did. Do you think Eric will have a benefit at this entire game? He has been a faithful. At breakfast, he's genuinely a faithful, saying he likes everyone in the castle.
At some point, the faithfuls realize somebody has to be recruited, so everybody becomes suspicious again.
They thought the recruitment might have taken place the night before.
They were given the choice to, as Alan said, seduce someone to their side or murder Rob. He's like, I want it to be just us.
Because Rob wanted Candice to take out Colton. For this seduction, you can seduce or murder. It might have been suspicious if no one was murdered. But the option for the end of this episode is seduce and then murder.
Right.
It's going to be a little bit more hidden. I think that could give Eric an advantage, having actually been faithful through this point and then only now needing to start acting. On that same note, we don't know how good of an actor Eric is, so he might blow his cover. I don't think Rob will care one way or the other. He had to pick a guy, though, because we've had 3 women traitors leave.
The faithfuls are already starting to get suspicious that one of them has to be a guy.
Johnny says that so much in this episode. At breakfast, Johnny says they want to recruit somebody everybody loves. We see Rob talk about at the end. He says, I could recruit Johnny because his name starts to come up in this episode, and then they'll get him out and they'll think, okay, that our suspicions were right. Or he could recruit somebody that's smart, like Eric, or somebody like Mark that everybody loves.
Yeah, nobody would suspect Mark.
And Johnny said that before Candice or Rob entered the room. So this is Rob thinking on his own. Dorinda talks a little bit about Lisa's banishment. She has no idea what was going on. She thought we were just having a fabulous girls' weekend, and all of a sudden I'm hanging out with a traitor. I would have never guessed.
She was completely defeated. She said, I even packed my bags last night.
She thought she was out of there. Tara also continues to say, I have no idea what's going on. We should make a game about how bad I am at traitors. It's like drink every time that Tara's wrong.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun.
We should play it next week. Drink every time Tara is wrong. All right, that's our game next week. Everyone has just such a good relationship and trust. They're all boss now. Or do you think it's because Colton isn't there telling them what to do?
He was such a big personality and so adamant. He just talked and talked and talked and talked. Now they're going to have to talk amongst themselves and try and figure out the traitors.
Dorinda was listening to what Colt said. Tara, she's listening to Johnny saying it's Colt. Now Colt's gone. So that murder did knock them all on their asses.
Kristen had her eye on Colton as a traitor.
A lot of them did. But at breakfast, we start to hear Candice's name more. Mara, who had talked to Colton the night before, says maybe it was Candice. She threw out a vote. Candice is not the kind to throw out a vote. Really. And the fact that she threw it at Rob, who was targeting Lisa, made them suspicious because Lisa ends up being a traitor.
That's something that they should look at in the future.
Candice starts giving hints. Think about
who's been running under the radar.
Are they going to think those hints were to take the heat off her since her back was against the wall?
That's a good possibility.
Rob has woven such a wicked web. He says that Candice lost her queen and she doesn't have any valuable pieces now that Lisa's gone. He's a chess player. He's using pawns. He's setting people up around him. Colton would have been a big piece. Maybe Colton was his queen or his bishop. And sometimes you have to sacrifice a big piece to get checkmate. Gotta watch this quiet ones. Johnny doesn't want to believe that Candice is a traitor because he's close to her. So he defends her throwing the vote as not wanting to take out a housewife. However, there was also heat on Natalie. Candice says, I know it's not Natalie. That's why I didn't vote for Natalie. potentially this could put some heat on Natalie. Why didn't she vote for Natalie or Lisa? Maybe they're both traitors.
That's the way the faithfuls could look at it. We know that she voted that way because she was pissed off at Rob.
Right.
They questioned her about the throwaway vote and how out of character that was. She was like, I didn't believe the evidence was strong enough against Natalie and Lisa, so I just threw one out there.
That's one of the fun things about this game is trying to figure out how they're going to interpret it. This episode, I really felt we were waiting to see who was murdered. I guess Colton in the text message to you, but that's only because you told me I would never believe it.
Yeah, I was completely thrown. They were best buds. I was like, he's not going to let her pick Colton. I was completely shocked when he didn't show up.
And for her to pick Colton takes the heat off of Rob. So I don't know that that was a good strategy.
Well, she would have done something completely different had he been honest and shared that Colton had already threw her name out there.
That aside, taking out one of Rob's closest alliances takes the heat off of Rob. Rob wouldn't murder Colton. To be fair, her thought was Colton shoots off at the mouth. He just picks up on a name and goes with it. And we need to get him out before our names are in his mouth. Of course, not knowing her name was in his mouth.
She was absolutely correct. Rob was using him as a mouthpiece to cover up, throwing the girls under the bus.
And now he's using her to do his dirty work. So the last four that we're waiting on to come into breakfast, Rob, Colton, Natalie, and Mark. So one of the people at the table go, I hope it's not Rob. I don't know that any of them have a clue that it could be Rob.
They're sheep. They are sheep when it comes to him.
They're shocked when Colton doesn't walk in. They really thought it was Colton.
It was one of the more chaotic breakfasts that I've seen.
Even for us.
Everybody was very loud.
Well, Rob is fumbling his glass. So the fact that everybody had that reaction helps him hide slip up.
Right.
Now, Alan walks in. He looks like Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He has this crazy hair with blue dye. He's got this 70s big bow tie and a beautiful color, this burnt orange. And then he has a suit that looks like he went on Drag Race and made it out of curtains. Don't look bad in it. He could he could wear a towel. He'd be fine.
It looked like curtains or couch upholstery or something like that.
The man can work it.
He can wear anything.
If I had that on, I would look like grandma.
Oh, yeah.
He
Me
works
too.
it.
He turned it into a complete fashion statement.
Did Colton gift Rob one of his sweater vests? Because Rob is now making an appearance in this horrid sweater vest. It is black. It has hearts or something on it. No shirt underneath. Is this a thing now?
I don't know.
Colton was doing it with that Howdy Doody one.
It's a horrible trend. I hope it's not something that's taking off because it looks ridiculous.
We're probably just old D.
I know we are.
These kids these days.
I know. And if people looked at the stuff that my generation wore, they would be like, you have no room to talk.
Whatever. That started coming back. The 80s and the 90s. I was so excited in the
Well,
90s.
yeah, the crop tops for sure. I was trying to Google to see if there was any celebrities that are wearing sweater vests and stuff. It said that Harry Styles is known for wearing sweater vests.
I don't even know who Harry Styles is.
I don't know either. I think it's a singer. Didn't he date Taylor Swift at one point or something? I don't know. But anyway,
You're speaking Greek right now.
I was thinking Mr. Rogers or Pee Wee Herman.
90s sweater vest is a preppy look. You'd wear it over a button-up shirt.
Yes. Or a turtleneck.
Right. Wasn't a fan.
No, me either.
So we see Colton get murdered. As he's opening the envelope, he's pointing the finger at Candice. Sure, it was her. He hopes his boy Rob wins.
I had to laugh.
I am waiting for the Traitors on TikTok to publish.
I was getting ready to say the exact same thing. I have been searching all morning. I want to see his reaction to finding out that it's Rob so bad.
We searched for it right before we recorded this episode. Once I see it come up, I'll either repost it on our TikTok, Remote Reality, or maybe even do a duet with it. It's going to be good.
It's going to be epic. It has to be.
He's flying so low under this radar.
So low.
Last week, they showed Ron finding out it was Rob and his reaction. Epic. This week for the missions, we don't have any car rides, which I'm actually okay without the car rides.
But there is a lot of talk that gets done in the car rides.
I like the talk here in the house because you never know who's going to walk in. It's
True.
riskier. It's more sexy. And Candice, she's getting in people's ears. Kristen says in ITMs, maybe Mark's the traitor. I really trust him. It's like, Kristen, you're on the right path.
Mm-hmm.
Not Mark. Keep going down that line. You're listening to Candice. Just keep thinking that way. We are hearing a lot of people talk about Candice. They're also talking about Steven some.
Mm-hmm.
Colton also was saying Steven. They are listening to what Colton said.
Even though he's gone, he still has their ear.
And that's one of the things I pondered as I watched this. Why would you listen to Colton?
Colton had this attitude of he wasn't going to stop.
The week before, he had Lisa's name in his mouth. Lisa didn't murder him. Now, that was a murder in plain sight, so maybe they excuse it that way. Week 1, he had Donna's name in his mouth. And Donna didn't have the ability to murder him, but they don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 traitors that have been voted out that Colton has fingered, they didn't murder him, even after he was talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
So why would they think, now that Colton has said Candice and Steven, that Candice and Steven would change tactics and murder the person who's talking about them? That's not consistent.
Mm-mm. No, it doesn't make a lot of sense either.
No, not that they were wrong on it, but that's one of the things they're using when they're suspicious of Candice. Now, I think the big thing is that she threw out that Rob vote. That just was not like her, and she was doing it to protect Lisa, who ended up being a traitor. Candice, besides just bringing up we need to look where we haven't been looking, she starts mentioning how Rob was fumbling his fork at breakfast. She tells this to Johnny and Kristen, that he's usually so level-headed, and this was unlike him. Now, Steven, he's about to go have a little conversation with Candice, but he says that he thinks he can use Rob as an ally because Rob has the dagger, which is interesting because at some point in this episode, Rob also says, I told everybody about the dagger. So either consciously or subconsciously, they need me in this game.
Well, that's just that group of 6. I think they're calling themselves the Dagger 6. Right. It's just one extra. If someone wanted to strategically get rid of Rob, knowing that he had the dagger would be much easier because then they would be like, okay, this is what we got to do. It has to be unanimous. He has one extra vote.
And in a situation like this roundtable where Steven's name is coming up and then Rob's name comes up, doesn't mean that Rob is going to use it to save you. But also, like Johnny said in this episode, maybe you're safe if you're close to a traitor.
That's one of the things that has him thinking maybe Candice is because he's so close to her and he's been safe all along.
Are they going to start realizing that he has this power, but he's not needing to use it because the traitor isn't going after anybody in that 6? Well, except Colton. Colton's gone.
It would be foolish of them to think he's going to use the dagger on anybody but himself.
That Colton move, it's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. The more you think about it, this group of 6 is protected, but they just got rid of his closest ally.
Right. And he killed 2 birds with one stone. He's got Candice as a target and him almost unimaginably not the target because Colton was his best friend.
This is where it reminds me of chess. When you're trying to go after that king and you look, you have pawns, Colton, Candice, you have them all over the place shielding the king.
Yeah. As soon as anybody starts bringing up Rob's name, the first thing they're all going to say is, Rob wouldn't have killed Colton. It's genius.
Candice takes Steven to the side and starts mentioning that Rob was basically a puppet master. While she's starting to have this conversation, Dorinda and Johnny walk in and she says, can you give us just a minute? And they turn around and walk out and Dorinda says, there you go. The 2 people we're suspicious of are having a conversation and ask for a minute. Why did she ask for a minute? Why
I don't know.
Dorinda and Johnny walk in and hear her throwing shade at Rob?
I would have thought it would have been too sus. Maybe because it was Dorinda and Johnny.
She's close to Johnny. And Dorinda is also a housewife. There is no reason she couldn't have had that conversation in front of them.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. And it just made it look more suspicious.
Yeah.
Well, Rob walks in as they're saying Rob, and Steven's like, well, we are discussing who threw out Lisa's name first. I think it was you. And Rob's like, I don't know, man. Let me have a minute to talk to Candice. Steven gets up and walks out. I hope he clocked that. What does Rob need to say to Candice that he couldn't say in front of you?
Maybe we'll see in the future when somebody says to Steven, we think it was suspicious because you and Candice were sitting alone together and asked us to leave or give you a minute. Maybe he'll bring it up and say, when I was talking to Candice, Rob came in and they wanted a moment
I
alone.
confronted Rob about him being a puppet master of Colton, and he brushed it off and asked for a minute alone with Candice. I was the one confronting him, and he said, let me pop a seat. You get out of here. I need to talk to Candice. Even basically, Rob knew that Candice was putting that into Steven's ear.
Right.
And there was something he couldn't say in front of Steven. I hope he clocked that moment. I hope he has that bookmarked. And we don't hear Steven say a lot about who he suspects at the end of this episode, because maybe the editors are trying to keep us in suspense. So this mission, I thought it was really fun. You have 3 people who go into this art room that has a lot of paintings. And then you have 2 teams that are going to act out scenes. Now, they get a written description of the scene, and they have to, it's like Pictionary. They have to make the people in the art room.
Yeah, they have to make like a living portrait for a still picture to be taken of it. And then the people in the art room have to find the painting in there that is the same as the one they depicted in the live photo.
I'm amazed at some of these depictions. Like maybe some of the people on Team Dorinda, Mara, Tara, and Natalie are art connoisseurs.
They were amazing.
They were pretty close to these images, even though they don't see it. They're just going off a description. The other team acting out the photos are Johnny, Eric, Steven, and Candice. And then Rob, Kristen, and Mark are in the turret. Now, not the turret.
The storage room where the paintings are.
The art room. Rob's in the turret. Now, in this art storage room, there's a shield. So when they pick who gets to go in there and decipher it, they know that a shield is up. And they're like, give it to Rob. He might need it.
Candice.
They're drinking the Kool-Aid.
I know, but Candice cracked me up because she's like,
give it to Johnny.
Yeah, Rob needs the shield, or feels about the shield the way I do about walking up a hill. Like, he don't need it. He doesn't care.
I feel that way about hills too. And as Kristen ends up with the shield. So at least they'll have another night where Rob's not murdered for them to wonder why. But this was such a fun mission. Johnny, Candice, Eric, and Steven, they have to do this cow one. Johnny's wearing this houndstooth coat. He looks like a spotted cow, and he gets down on all fours. And Candice puts this blue handkerchief over her head. She looks like a milkmaid. She's got her hands up under him. Eric's sitting there with grass in his mouth, which I guess, to be fair, horses eat grass too. But the people in the art room, they're like, oh, they're obviously horses. I'm like, what the hell is Candice doing to that horse? Giving him a handy? What are her hands doing up under there?
Oh, shit.
What are they thinking? To be fair, Johnny's face looked like the horse picture. He was channeling that horse. They did it side by side. It was wild.
I didn't think they did a bad job with their reenactments of the pictures either. But for some reason, the ones in the art room just could not get what they were trying to depict at all.
So the other group was doing cows, and they were obviously mooing. And Rob said, Dorinda is clearly a cow.
Shit.
And they were like, well, you can tell her that. You can tell her that she's a cow. But they got it spot on. But yeah, they were obviously mooing. The next set, you have Mara riding on Natalie with like a stick up in there that looks like a sword. It was very clear that you're going to have a picture with a horse and somebody fighting. So they got that. And then Johnny's group, he's choking Eric with his hand up in the air. The picture they're depicting, it looks like a bunch of traitors. They're in black capes, but they're not fighting. They're just standing there. And the group finds this portrait of somebody. It looks like he's getting his teeth extracted. So the guy is holding his head like it looks like he's choking him. And then he's got this hand up in the air where he's pulling out the teeth. And it did look like what was happening in that picture, and they get it wrong.
Yeah, I can understand why they got that one wrong.
And then the third one, the sad proposal, you have Natalie proposing to Mara, who's crying, but the way that people are situated in the actual picture, it looks very similar to how they're situated.
It was so close.
So again, I wonder if somebody is an art connoisseur and knows these images.
Either that or that was a very good description, because it was amazing how close they actually were to the photo or the portrait itself.
And like Mara says, she's like, tree out of tree. We win.
I just have to say one thing, because you just brought that up. I do not remember her saying words like that in the other episodes, but for some reason it stuck out to me so bad this episode.
Well, the tree out of tree.
Yeah. Well, everything that had a th sound, she had the H left out of it. And I'm like, I don't remember her doing that in the other episodes.
There have been a lot of other people in this house. We're starting to have less people to edit into episodes. And I have a feeling that a lot of what she talks about is Rob. And not that Rob might be a traitor, but maybe that he's just really good looking. And
she got the hots for him.
Don't we all, sister? This last one for Johnny's group, they've got Eric. He's supposed to be a baby. They do a great job hiding his body. And Candice is holding him and he's screaming, crying. But there's also, like I said, they did a great job hiding his body. He's a baby. He's not supposed to be big. There also happens to be a picture of a pig with its head on the platter. So the group is like, which is it going to be? They choose the baby. So $12,000 into the pot. They got one right. They were just really unlucky in what the options were.
Yeah, I do too. And Rob, which one? He thought somebody was an ostrich, for crying out loud.
Because of the way that their hand was positioned in the background.
Are they being an ostrich? And I was just like, how do you even get that?
An ostrich would have their head in the sand, not up. Speaking of ostrich, we found these really cool ostrich lamps, this ostrich feather lamp.
Yes, they're beautiful. And
we're going to work on our backgrounds a little bit. I was like, Dee, you should get this one.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot I can do, but we're going to try.
So we go to the Roundtable. I don't know if we mentioned that Candice basically tells Rob, I don't trust you, when they send Steven off. But that's how we're going in. The traitors don't trust each other. Rob has ruined that. At least Candice is smart enough to know not to trust Rob. And they ask who's first. The edit shows a long silence. And then Johnny jumps in with Colton said Steven. Colton said a lot of people.
He was wrong just as much as, if not more, than he was right.
Correct. But maybe you wouldn't suspect Steven of killing Colton like you would Candice, because I feel like Colton and Steven had a good relationship.
Steven seems to have a good relationship with everybody.
So does Rob. Dorinda asked Steven why Lisa gave him the gold, which we said last episode would be an issue. And he goes, she wouldn't have done it if I didn't ask. And Eric, he starts to echo what Candice has been saying. These traitors are playing a great game. Maybe we should look at who we wouldn't think it is. Which, now that he might be a traitor and recruited, might come back to bite him in the ass.
True. His statement gets directed at Candice.
It does.
Which again, I think was Rob, when the Dagger 6 had their little meeting, had thrown Candice out there.
Excuse me. Which, going back to if and when, I'm going to say Eric does become a traitor, but they're going to look and say, well, he just pointed the finger at Candice, who's a traitor.
Oh, good point. Good point. Which
So that
might be
could
the
help
reason
steal
why
them.
Rob picked him.
Right. Absolutely. But Candice makes her arguments about Rob that she's been dropping.
And I have to say, I thought she did a really good job. I thought she was convincing. I thought at least one person would vote for Rob besides her.
She said that Rob essentially is Colton's beard. He's pulling the strings there. Mara is confused. On one hand, Candice said that Rob was a throwaway vote, but now she's trying to convince everybody that he's actually a traitor. It's not making sense to her.
She's over there defending her boo.
And Candice says, well, this morning, Yeah, last night it was throwaway vote, but this morning at breakfast, when he started
Mhm.
fumbling things, I started thinking about it more. I don't know that Mara's going to turn around and reflect on that moment. She's just so charmed by Rob,
Mhm.
but maybe other people will circle back to this.
Yeah, 'cause
Why is he a throwaway vote? And then she's
Mhm.
really putting the finger at him. And the reason is she had to do something. She's always on course. And all of a sudden she picks Rob. So she had to have some sort of excuse for
Mhm.
it. The reason she picked Rob, it was obvious. It's because he was saying Lisa.
Mhm.
Housewives always have each other's back. He's a traitor. He's turning on the traitors.
Mhm.
And she did it because he was turning, but she had to have a reason for it. Throwaway vote because she hadn't been building that. And then this week she started building it. So maybe somebody will catch on to that because that's what's actually happening.
Mhm.
But they're just so charmed. Mara is using this to come after Candice, but she's also like, don't go after my man. I don't think she's going to circle around and have that. Like, she knows something's weird here. She knows that it's strange that this goes from throwaway vote to throwing Rob under the bus. I just don't think she's going to circle back around and think about it.
I don't know. Hopefully somebody at this table will have an aha moment and realize the snake that Rob is.
Now, even with Candice saying her piece, Rob chooses not to use the daggers,
Mm-mm.
which is smart. He doesn't feel like Candice is a threat. If he chooses to use the daggers, it shows that he thinks this
Mhm.
has something to it.
Mhm.
By
I thought
not
he
using
should
the
have been
daggers, he's
I
not taking it seriously.
I thought he should have been a little bit concerned. I thought she made some valid points, but
Absolutely.
nobody is paying attention to her.
But he can't show that what she's saying is serious. If he uses the daggers, he shows that he thinks Candice is a threat. It's like reverse psychology.
If more people had jumped on her wagon and
Yes,
went along with her, he probably would
absolutely.
have.
But she says it right at the end.
Mhm.
So, of course, Candice votes for Rob. Natalie votes for Tara because Tara mentions how Natalie had called out a name first when everybody kind of did it. So that was just a knee jerk emotional vote, which going back at it, Candice made an emotional vote the week before.
Mhm.
She ends up leaving because everybody else votes for her except for those 2 votes this week. And I think she realized her mistake because you even see her at the beginning of the episode saying, I need to play it calm and cool. Emotions aren't going to work on Rob. And Rob is saying, look, I'm keeping my cool with Candice because people will read these emotions. That might backfire on Natalie. But yeah, Candice leaves. She's crying. She really loves this game. She feels like she connected with everybody very quickly. And she says she played it with valor, respect, and love, and treachery because she was a traitor. So she ends it with treachery. I thought it was interesting. Candice is almost making this honor among thieves argument. She and Lisa promised each other loyalty
All
to
3 of
Lisa
them
and
did.
Colton.
Yeah. No, Rob.
So there's honor among traitors. I wonder if the group will pick up on that she played it with valor, love, and respect. And she's saying Rob,
Good point.
and Rob is throwing the other traitors under the bus.
Good point.
But this whole honor among thieves, at the end of the day, she loves them, but she was killing them all. She's confident as she leaves that they're going to look at Rob. If they don't, joke is on them. But after this round table, we see Kristen and Eric sitting there saying, couldn't be sweet Rob. Like, why would she even do that?
Yeah, he's already playing defense.
Ingratiated himself to them.
Well, he's playing defense. He's I don't know why she would say that about me. Does she think just because I don't say a lot, I haven't made any friends or have any relationships?
I don't know that this is a good defense. Yeah, they're walking out of the round table and Rob, it's not, I'm not a traitor. How would she think I'm a traitor? It's impossible that I'm a traitor. It's what she doesn't think I made friends here because I'm quiet. Look, traitors can have friends. I don't think this is the flex he's hoping for. It should have been, I cannot believe that she would think I'm a traitor. I'm so clearly a faithful. My best friend just left last night. But instead, she doesn't think I have friends. Maybe that's why you're not getting caught.
He's
Not the
very good.
strongest argument.
Yeah, he's very good at deflecting to other people and knowing when to put a nugget in somebody's ear and let them do the talking for him.
Now, Mara is saying in the kitchen that it could be Johnny. And Tara's like, no, absolutely not Johnny, which Mara almost becomes suspicious of Tara in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it on her face.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure about the strategy that Tara and Johnny have of not letting people know that they're as good of friends as they are. Because they said at the very beginning,
I don't get it either.
yeah, that they didn't want anybody in the house to know that they're best friends. And I'm just like, I don't understand that strategy.
I don't understand it. So Rob goes into the turret by himself. Finally, some peace and quiet, although his mouth is saying that.
What an
Then
asshole
Alan
thing to
comes
say.
in and he's like, you got a recruitment. The person will either take it or leave it. But if they take it, you're going to both murder tonight. And we talked about his 3 options. He ends up picking Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Eric walking down to find out who the traitor is. He thinks it's Johnny. He goes, I recognize this handwriting. And he is confident it's Johnny's.
Yeah, he was just as confident as he was with Tiffany and her laugh. Remember? I know it was Tiffany's laugh. And he did it with the same confidence when he saw the writing. It's Johnny. And I'm just like, oh,
It's a great point. His face when Rob pulls off the cape.
Priceless.
And walking down there, he's like, I'm not going to be a traitor. I would rather die. I'm a nice person. This is what happens to nice people. And he's like, but then could I do it? Look, everybody's team Rob. I think he's going to team up with Rob.
Well,
he is so shocked that this nice guy is a traitor.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. Anybody that watched this episode and sees Eric's face and the amount of just astonishment on his face lets you know that all of those other faithfuls think the same damn shit as he does about Rob. So
actually, if you're on YouTube, I've recorded the reaction, so it's playing down here.
Yeah, they're not even thinking about Rob. You can tell by the look on his face. Everybody else is going to be the same way. It just shows you how far he's gotten under everybody and ingratiated himself as this sweet, sweet, sweet boy, as Kristen said.
Right now, I'm pissed at Rob because I really love Candice and I really loved Lisa, but he's playing a great game. And once my emotions have a chance to come out of this, because I'm feeling some spite on him right now, I probably will be back pulling for Rob to win this.
I know, but I'm just mad right now.
Right now, we're upset. Rob. But game recognizes game. He's got it. This is brilliant. All right, that is it for Traitors. We will be back on Wednesday with the Murdaugh appeal. And we'll be back on Friday with Traitors. And there might be something else dropping. Maybe some Love is Blind.
We're thinking about it.
So to be determined, make sure you like and subscribe and see what we're up to next. All right, Channel Surfers, you guys have a great weekend and we will see you next week. Bye.
Let's ride.